Hey everybody, long time no see. First and foremost, virtual hugs from me. I am missing so many of you so bloody much. To not see you in the last year, I mean, where do I start? It's been super difficult and quite a sobering experience for many of us, I'm sure. We're so used to each other's company. And we've all had our own challenges to navigate. I'm sure the insecurity and the uncertainty has messed about with our heads to such an intense degree that just to have cinema back in any form is a blessing. So not that it means much from this average Joe, but thank you so much to the NHS and all who work within it, and the scientists who've worked their asses off to get us to this point, because if it was left in the hands of the shitty government, not that I want to particularly get on my political soapbox right now, but if it was left to them, fuck knows where we'd be, to be quite frank. To get to this point is predominantly down to you, so thank you very much, and we are forever indebted. Right. All that out of the way. Right. This has been a long time in terms of communicating with you guys in any form, at least in a film review sense. I mean, I've done the odd bits and pieces, but in my current living arrangement back in the Midlands, at this moment in time, I'm currently back in London. Yay! I haven't really had the space to do this, so to reconnect with you all in this way is, you know, all the feels, because just to talk about film, you know, it gives me so much joy, and I'm sure it does to many of you as well, and whether it's just on a basic entertainment level or to properly critique it and, you know, unpick every little detail visually or in characterization, you know, we spend hours on it sometimes because we are just that sad to some people, but I wouldn't change it for the world. So let's get cracking. Right, Another Round is the film today. It will get a cinema release on July the 2nd here in the UK, finally, because of course, you know, many distributors have adopted this hybrid release model of, you know, having their own streaming services like HBO Max, or, you know, or stuck it out and really tried to shift the goalposts a lot, which has obviously been dictated by the pandemic. So to have this film with us in the summer, or at the height of summer in July, is terrific, and it is the latest collaboration from director Thomas Vinterberg and Mads Mikkelsen. They previously worked on The Tough Terrain of The Hunt, which the skill and care that went into that was astounding in my eyes, and Mikkelsen's performance floored me, frankly. So to have them both together again is an exciting prospect. Thankfully, the narrative here, or the subject matter, is a little more jolly. It is deeply rooted in drinking. Now, us Brits, let's be honest, we do throw the jokes around that, you know, we love a tipple, and, you know, to see it from their home country of Denmark in the heart of Copenhagen, and to see those parallels and contrasts was always going to be a fascinating thing to witness, and boy oh boy do they deliver with this. I'll get to the critique in a moment, but to delve a little deeper into its story, Mikkelsen plays Martin. He's a disillusioned teacher who has lost any real sense of joy in his life. There are marital problems that he can't quite get to grips with his wife, and they've both got their own vices and ways of dealing with it. It all stems from an earlier familial tragedy, an obstacle that they haven't really been able to get over. Thankfully for Martin, he's not alone in this disillusionment. His fellow teachers, played by Marcus Malang, Thomas Bo Larsen and Lars Ranth, they've got their own issues running around the place, whether it's trying to find the perfect work-life balance with 3 children, trying to manage a football team. They all have their own little quirks and ways of coping with things, but they bond over a quite peculiar social experiment that they draw from a well-renowned psychiatrist, that they believe that people are more creative, they're more relaxed, they're more spontaneous if their blood alcohol content is 0.05%. And what ensues is a multifaceted, surprisingly poignant and almost euphoric emotional journey that you go on with these four men at the turn of one of them turning 40. And the dinner table sequence that they have, I think, encapsulates a lot of this toxic masculinity that we tend to have in the exploration of our own problems and sharing them with fellow men, whether that's straight or gay. In my case, you know, the queer community is the same as well. I think because we're so trying to break this idea that we're just, you know, the life and soul of the party and we're all flamboyant and, you know, at least in our sense. And, you know, the straight community, you have to be strong and tough and stoic, and you don't deal with your problems. You, at least, you know, openly and publicly, you keep it all inside. And, you know, for them here, I don't think they quite anticipate what pours out of them through this experiment, because inevitably, I'm sure this would be a trigger for certain people who, you know, might have had to deal with alcoholism in their past, and, you know, and I feel like I have to ensure people that another round isn't a, you know, full-on celebration of that sort of culture. That I have to stress, despite the fact that there are moments of real joy and euphoria. It works wonderfully within this grey area that, you know, we always joke about having the Dutch courage to do something, and we're like, oh, well, take a little shot, and, you know, whether it's in a bar and, you know, there's somebody across the dance floor or, you know, the bar that we're quite attracted to, and, you know, a bit of Dutch courage, hello, you know, break out from that, you know, that introverted self that, you know, we grow so accustomed to and almost feel chained by, and we can't break out of it. So to see these characters go on this journey together, it's, I mean, I didn't quite anticipate the amount of depth that Vinterberg goes to, and the way he executes it aesthetically as well is so brilliant. The disorientating nature of how it progresses with, you know, the skewered angles and, you know, the lighting quite dimmed to give this idea that, you know, you've blacked out, for example. And the 3-act structure that it has shows the gradual, you know, how things unravel. And if you really engage in this culture, the mental and the physical ramifications that it can have, and it feels very much like a cautionary tale in that respect, but at the same time it finds so much joy in the camaraderie that they have, because the bond that they have and how well fleshed out it is between Mikkelsen and his fellow co-stars in Lars and Milang and Ranth, you have to root for them. And the effect that they have on their pupils, whether it's through music, through drawing on from historical figures, and there's a particularly wonderful montage of political figures. And, you know, we've heard the expression "drunk on power," which, you know, take of that what you will. Whether it's people who've been quite, you know, seen like great dictators, or, you know, these goofballs of that spectrum that we see on a daily basis and are, you know, deemed to govern us effectively, up for debate. But that is a fascinating angle that Vinterberg goes for as well. And you see, I think particularly in the climate as well, with teachers and how they are, the lack of respect that's sort of put upon them. Particularly on Mikkelsen when he's dealing with a parent-teacher conference of sort or meeting, and you can sense the nerves that are within him without a drink, and which is why they fully engage in this process in the first place. And Mikkelsen's lead turn, I mean, is there anything this man can't do? Seriously, I mean, Vinterberg seems to just get the best out of him. He seems to wring out every nuance and high emotion that he can. The collaboration and the quality of it between these two it's seamless. It really, I just can't stress enough how moved I was by Mikkelsen's performance and his fellow co-stars. I think, particularly in that dinner table sequence I referenced to earlier, the sadness in the eyes, the nervous energy that crackles wonderfully within that sequence, and just as they go on this journey, it is superb. And I mean, Another Round for me might be already one of my favourite films of the year because of the depth. It's so multifaceted. It's just, I think it's such a fitting film for what we've all had to go through, weirdly. And I know that sounds probably an odd thing to say for people who might have not seen it yet, but it's been an emotional roller coaster, and we've all had to find unlikely ways to cope. And there's highs and lows, there's twists and turns that you can't envisage happening, and that's very much like the film. And but it ends on this euphoric, utterly joyful climax, which, if you're not aware of the sequence, because it's been highly documented already in reviews and features, and you might have seen the odd clip on social media, but it is, and it's probably because of the fact that I haven't been in a cinema for so long and I wasn't in a press screening for so long, I nearly ended up crying happy tears, because I just thought, this is perfect. It encapsulates so much of what we've probably all been feeling. That sense of self-worth. Are we being enough? We're starved of everything so long. We're trying to find that joy in our life in any way that we can, in very difficult circumstances. And the human spirit is more resilient than you think. And I think sometimes we have to go through these things to really find out who we are. And Another Round, I think, is a pretty fine example of that. And I'm trying not to get emotional here. I just can't stress enough what a wonderful return to this big screen experience that Another Round was. And Vinterberg, hats off to you, because I know this is a special film for you. Not that you'll probably ever see this, but still. Because you really expressed it at the Oscars, and obviously it means different for you. And I think I just sense that this film's going to really resonate with people in a way that it might catch you off guard. And before I spiral further, I'm going to cap it there. So please see Another Round in July, because it is just fantastic. And I mean, if my reaction and being all handsy again doesn't stress that enough, please see it for yourself on the 2nd of July. Thank you to Studio Canal for keeping to its cinema release. Right, this has gone 15 minutes long. This is probably the longest in probably ever, so I'm going to shut up now. Right, for me, in terms of writing now, it is Movie Marker. Of course, follow on Facebook and Twitter, and www.moviemarket.co.uk. In recent months, there's been various reviews from BFI Flair, from myself, and Glasgow Film Festival. I'm not sure what's on the menu in the coming weeks and months in terms of festivals. I'm going to have to keep an eye. I think the only thing that I've really heard about is Sundance, London, and possibly Edinburgh, which I'm crossing fingers because I'd love to be back in Scotland as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this review. I really hope that I haven't rambled, because I was so conscious of that, but at the same time I really just wanted to throw myself into this and reconnect with you all, because it's been so damn long. And yeah, just, and on a personal level, because I haven't seen so many of you, for all the support that you've given me personally, a lot of love, because whether it's especially for Lighthouse, which I work at in Wolverhampton, I'm supremely grateful, because we're back open next month, and which gave me so much joy when we found out in the last week or so. So to get us to that point, and because I appreciate not everybody has that luxury of reopening. We have had some losses in the last year or so, and since my heart goes out to those people that we haven't really, we're still figuring things out, and I wish you all the best and success in the world going forward. I sincerely hope that you figure things out and land on your feet. But yeah, I think that's the note to end on. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Darryl Griffiths, and much love to you all. I hope to see many of your faces very soon, and if I don't, take care, and bye for now.